really, you're clearly a developer that is focused on quality and a design-focused product, and well respected among architects as an ideal client, working closely with the design team to get the most out of schemes.
That's only because you've not worked with us yet.
I'll take that as an invitation. What set you on this path to a more design-focused product? And do you at any stage question the viability of that route when value engineering? Essentially, how do you value that design and quality when it comes to considering margins, and where do you make compromises to drive profits?
Well, great question there, Tina. And I suppose where they come from, I mean, a couple of things. I hope I've got a bit of design sensibility. And, you know, when I started some of my posters, I was the guy who used the Stone Roses covers rather than the glossy photos. So, and my mum, at a late stage in her life, decided to study art. And so she dragged me along to all the galleries as a teenager, which I think was actually quite a life-changing experience for me to come and see it. And then I was lucky enough to meet Jonathan Falking, my partner, who's a really good architect and really focused. And he sort of then started distilling our ideas into design. And for me, I'm not interested in fashion. And fashion for me is irrelevant, because it comes and goes and changes. I am interested in design. And for me, design is about function and form. And so it's about having big windows, it's about having high ceilings, it's about having ideally south-facing gardens where you've got some green space, about having green space. And all these things I think are fundamentally important and not necessarily expensive. I hate places where you get crap buildings and they cover them over with expensive Louis Vuitton wallpaper or whatever it might be. And for me, or they ask you what color do you want, or do you want Japanese design or European design? None of that has got any interest to me. Making things really well, and and use the materiality of it. So if you use concrete, why not use really good concrete but expose it, and that way you can actually save some money. It means you don't have to plaster it. And so for us, we want to work incredibly hard at everything we do and stretch the budget. Everyone's got limited budgets. I'm really passionate about making our homes as affordable as possible. I've got no interest in making homes for billionaires. I've got interest in making our homes more and more affordable, like Jeff Bezos with Amazon, making things cheaper and cheaper. Yeah. And so that's about using great design and great designers, of using material in a really practical way and making the most of every site and every opportunity. And far from costing money, I think that generates money. And then what we're really about generates value, which customers like. And when you see people reselling urban splash houses, they put on the advert, urban splash house for sale, which you never say with a Wimpy or Barrett's or a Bellway. And so I think people do recognise that, and I think it's got lasting value. And I think spending that time and energy, and it's more time and energy than money, to be honest with you, making sure the design works is time very well spent. I think it's something we could all enjoy doing.
So it's that long-term design value, which is essentially what we try and portray to all developers, really. So.
Absolutely. And working with great architects is what it's all about. I mean, that's seriously, the single most important question you make as a developer doing a project is picking your architect. And all too often, historically, it's been done from somebody you happen to know, somebody who's down the golf club, somebody and actually looking at architects' portfolios, looking at what they've done previously, looking at the way they look at life, and not copying something done before, but looking at their attitude and the way they go, and getting developers spending time, interview a number of architects. Don't ask them to design your scheme, but ask them about their previous schemes, ask them questions of what they've done, work out their thinking, and find somebody you really get on with. And again, find an architect. It's a very intense relationship, architect and developer. You're going to spend a lot of time together. You're going to go through some good times and bad times. Find somebody you really want to work with, you really trust, who gets what you're trying to do. And then it becomes a really strong team and you can have a lot of fun together.
Brilliant.